9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, everybody. Hello. This is Michael Voss, the Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm here with you today, and we are on Facebook. And we're having just a quick conversation here today. And I want to ask a question that is probably not what you're used to. And you've seen, if you're looking at this on Facebook right now, you're going to see I just put up a survey, and you're probably going to be surprised because we're talking about Star Wars. Now, I know everyone figures I only talk about politics. That's the only thing I ever care about. I never talk about regular things. Well, that's not entirely true. I am a original Star Wars fan. And when I say original, I mean from 1977. Yes, I am that old. The gray is the proof. So I remember the original series. I remember going out to the movie theaters for the original films, going back 2, 3, 4 times for each of the original 3 films. I remember that very vividly. I remember the impact it had on everyone. And I was a fan. I've always been a fan of everything Star Wars. The video games, the TV shows. Not so much the holiday special, but, whatever. I even went out and saw all of the prequels. The first one, horrible. I'm still waiting for someone to kill Jar Jar Binks because that was horrible. But even with that, watched all of them. I've even grown to appreciate, episodes 2 and especially episode 3. I think episode 3 was far, far better than most of the others. So, and I know, we have Facebook jumping around a little bit there, but, I loved episode 3 especially. I loved Darth Maul. They wasted him. He was such a good character. But watching, Ben Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader fight, that was a great thing. So I've always been a fan of that. And there's always been politics in Star Wars. That's a fact. It's always been subtle. It's always been in the background. It's been the illusion, something that they're pointing to about Star Wars. So it wasn't Star Wars is politics. Star Wars wasn't about politics. But politics were in there. You could see the reflection. You could see where they were touching on. The stormtroopers are Nazis. I mean, they're called stormtroopers, for goodness sake. There's that allusion to Nazism, of that nationalism, of that fanaticism in there, the oppression that we see in there coming from an overbearing government, a autocratic rule. So it's always been political to some extent. And we saw a lot more of that, actually too much of that, in the prequel series, where it was all about how, it's basically C-SPAN in space. Who cares? People don't watch C-SPAN here in the United States, on Earth. They're not going to watch it. No one enjoys watching that in space. Even when we had all the battles and all the other intrigue going on around it, it wasn't exciting. It took away from the movie. It seriously depressed people. And it was making political statements about our real world. The allegory, the impression there, the reflection suddenly became a hammer on us, hammering us down. Did you get my point? Did you get the political point? And that helped, along with Jar Jar Binks, Jar Jar Binks, to just take away the joy of a really beloved franchise. And you got to say, it's been a beloved franchise. It's been around for 40 some odd years now. It has lasted literally 2 generations. We have people who grew up with this and love it, and their kids love it, and their grandkids are loving the original series. And to some extent, people say the same thing about the prequels. So I get it. I get that. That politics, it's taken away from it, but it's always been a part of it. And then we got J.J. Abrams' new series. And I know a lot of people are at work right now. You're probably not going to get to see this. And depending on the music and the rights and how Facebook wants to look at this, they may not allow this to be seen again. So I may have to do it again. But I want to make sure that I'm talking with you about this, and I know it's a last minute thing, but it's Friday, and I wanted to take a break, and I knew this was out, and I wanted to talk about it, because I've seen now the trailer 4 times for episode 9. And what I was saying is, when we get to the trilogy, the new trilogy, it's taken that idea of politics and smashed it against our heads. It has made it, it's all about identity and gender politics. And that is the point. It's no longer about space wizards. It's not about lightsabers. It's not about duels and space battles. It's about politics. It's about making you believe a certain political belief, which is probably the worst thing I've ever seen done to something that's so beloved. It's like taking Santa Claus and making him political. No one would love that. It would totally destroy the image and the essence of what is Santa Claus, because that's not what he's about. And that's not what the Star Wars is about. It is an element that exists because it's a world, it's a universe, it's alive, or we're meant to feel like it's alive. But then when you just make it all about our modern world, silly identity and gender politics, it falls apart. And we've seen this. We've seen it in the backlash from all of the fans, the lackluster responses, the lack of interest. And we saw that in episode 7, not as much, but it was there. When we got the superwoman Mary Sue Ray, who could do anything and everything, and every male standing next to her suddenly became dumbed down. They lost 20 points of their IQ, and the longer they stood around her, the dumber they acted, and the more impossible a thing that she could possibly do. It ruins the immersion. It's not making her better. It's not making the politics better. It just makes a worse movie. There's less enjoyment there. Not to say that Rey couldn't be the star of the new trilogy. Fantastic. Sure, why not? Princess Leia was one of the stars of the original trilogy. It's an ensemble. She was an important character and beloved. No one ever questioned whether Princess Leia was a strong woman. She was. That's a fact. It's never been a question. But Rey had to be the strong woman type under the current ideology. And everyone else had to be just dumb to be able to allow her to be as great. And that's the problem with modern movies. You know, they're trying to emphasize this category or that category of people, and everyone else suffers because of it. And rather than make a better script where they can just be them and shine, no, we have to make everything, we water down the script, we make it stupid, and everyone around them stupid, so that one character stands out. Except they don't stand out for being good. They stand out because we see you're making a political point. And so I didn't enjoy episode 7. I never enjoyed it. It was too much of a remake. Rey is way too much of a Mary Sue. But then, we saw that we got episode 8. And I didn't go see it. I can't stand that movie. I've since seen about 10 minutes of it, and I gave up. It was just miserable. It was horrendous. It was made for, and this one, if 7 was saying, hey, politics, the identity, gender politics is up front in your face, then episode 8 was, there is nothing but identity politics. You know, you might as well. C-SPAN is actually better than watching episode 8. It really, really is. It just destroyed every element that made Star Wars good, and it destroyed them all. All of the characters, the momentum, the message, the fun spirit of it all. It just destroyed everything. And I understand. Some 40 some odd percent or so of the population that went to see this movie thought it was great, especially if you happen to be younger. Okay, that's fine. And that's why movies aren't made for me. They're made for the masses. And a large number of people did like it. Not nearly as many have liked the original series, not as many as the prequels, but there's an audience out there. Sales have been down. The toys don't sell. People aren't as in love with it. And there's been a massive backlash. Not because we're men or that there's some kind of fantasy going on that says we can't have a female lead. It was just bad writing. It was a badly written, badly directed film. And Disney recognized that. As much as they hated the fans and as much as they attacked the fans, which is stupid. I mean, you're in a service industry and you're telling your fans, rabid fans, who have kept this property alive for 40 years, for 4 decades, they've kept this alive and raised up and thrown money hand over fist into this property that you own, and you're going to actually attack those people. That's one of the most stupid business mantras I've ever heard in my life. Okay, but fine. This is what they did. And now they realized, that didn't work so well. Star Wars tanked in China. It didn't do as great overseas. America was vehemently split on this. Many of the old fans swore never to see anything. And the very next film, Solo, died. It failed. It was a flop. First time that's ever happened for Star Wars. So they suddenly said, wait a minute, we have to rethink this. So they went back to J.J. Abrams. They went back to the original and said, let's fix this. And that brings us to episode 9. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share with you the trailer that came out today, just a few hours ago, about an hour and a half ago. About an hour and a half ago. And I'm going to share the trailer with you, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts about it. And then you can tell me your thoughts, and we'll see what we all think about it, okay? So here comes the trailer for episode 9, the rise of Skywalker. Oops.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight. Be with you. No one's ever really gone.
All right. So that was the Star Wars. Wow, wasn't that something? I don't really know what the words I would put to it. That's the trailer. And I am equally parts bored and annoyed because it's just horrible. It's just not a good trailer. It's just not, quite honestly. Oops, wrong thing. So here's what I think about this, because it annoys me. It's a horrible, horrible film, or rather, it's a horrible trailer for a film. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, what were they thinking? What in the world were they thinking about this? Because it's miserable. Okay, it starts with breathing. Oh, she's breathing. So that's not drawing me in. I don't care why she's. Obviously, it would seem her ship just crashed. She's running out in the middle of this. It's not Tatooine. It's not Jakku. It's another planet that looks exactly like a mix of those two. We've seen the scenery before, so that's not interesting. And she's running out in the middle of this plains. Who cares? And we get Luke, which is nice. We know that the Force ghost of Luke is back. He's finally the Luke Skywalker that we knew from the original trilogy. We have the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker back. Fantastic. I'm happy about that. Except he's telling us that, you know what? It's true. It's justified. She, Rey, is the 1,000 generations of Jedi put in one person. She is literally Superwoman. He's justifying the fact that she is the Mary Sue. She is the immortal everything of Star Wars. Really? 1,000 generations and it's you. No, she's really not. Why? Why is she the 1,000th generation, or all 1,000 generations in her? Why is she Superwoman or Superman, however you want to look at it? It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me go, ooh. I don't know. It bored me. It annoyed me because it doesn't. She's never earned it. We've never seen her train. We've never heard anything about her. We don't know anything that justifies this. We've never seen this in the Force before. Will it be explained in the movie? It has to. This is the end of the saga. How do you have the name of the end of a saga say The Rise of Skywalker? I don't know. Because apparently she must be either, there's only two people that could be the Skywalker. It's either Rey or it's Ben Solo. Which means Ben Solo goes to the good side and she would have to go to the bad. But that doesn't seem to make sense. Not from everything we've seen so far. So we have to believe that she's somehow a Skywalker. So she's Luke's kid and he didn't know it. And he never mentioned it to her. Okay. Han and Leia never mentioned to her, by the way, you happen to be Luke Skywalker's kid. Really? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's very annoying to me. I don't get it. So again, we start off with that very boring sequence of her standing around, breathing hard for who knows what reason, and it doesn't matter. I think her ship crashed and she's just standing out there trying to escape from Kylo, who's trying to kill her, apparently. And I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't Kylo in that TIE fighter, TIE Defender, that's coming down after her. Okay. And then she runs away to jump to it, which also doesn't make sense. Just jump forward. I don't understand why she's running away from it. She turns, she waits for it, starts running, then jumps over it. Well, just run to it. Just run to it and jump at it. I don't understand what that's all about. It didn't look good. It didn't look impressive. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why your character would run away from something to jump up over it when you can just jump right at it and jump over it and attack it. It doesn't make sense. So again, I've lost my immersion already in that. I've already lost the immersion. I don't care what's happening next because it bores me. And half the entire trailer is either her breathing, her standing there, or this running thing that's going on. And being told that she's Superwoman. You've lost me. I don't know. Maybe other people disagree with me. Maybe you think that makes her great. I don't know. Then we get the Harry Potter moment. Did you notice that? The guys on the jetpacks flying through the sand. It's Harry Potter. It looked like someone on a broom out of Harry Potter. They're so desperate right now. They're reaching to other franchises that actually did well to try and save this franchise. They're going to Harry Potter. It didn't work for me. I see these guys doing their kind of pod race thing, and I'm seeing characters out of Harry Potter fly out at me. That doesn't make me feel like I want to see Star Wars. It doesn't make me feel like this is an interesting movie. It makes me think instantly that they're pulling out everything they can think of to try and get somebody to show up. And it just doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Maybe you think that's a great thing. I don't know. But being reminded of Harry Potter doesn't make me think of Star Wars, ever. Magic is not the Force. They're not the same thing. This isn't Hogwarts. Voldemort isn't the bad guy. It's just, even though Snoke looked like him, but then he's dead. So who cares? So, and then, we get to see some of the other characters, but no one's doing anything of any importance. Yeah, they're getting shot at. Who cares? Why are they getting shot at? What's shooting at them? Where are they going? Who knows? It doesn't matter. I don't care about Poe. I think that Finn is an absolute coward who had no character development. And the one moment he almost had character development and did something worthwhile in episode 8, where he was going to kill himself, the Rose character comes in and ruins it for him for the most stupid reason that has ever been put on film. And defeats his entire character moment for nothing and winds up getting a bunch of people killed. This is ridiculous. So I don't care about him. We've got a coward and we've got Poe, who's a good pilot. Yay. And who cares about that? Nobody. I don't. Maybe someone does. I don't think they're engaging. They're not interesting characters. They don't have arcs. They don't have character arcs. Poe was a pilot, and he's a really good pilot. And, in the last movie, he got beat up for being a really good pilot and doing actually military strategy that would actually make some sense. And Finn was a coward. He was a coward in the first movie. He was a coward in the second movie. Big deal. Who cares about these characters? Why are we engaged with them? They're getting shot at. Who cares? We found out that there's going to be a new toy. R2-D2 is missing. Throughout the entire trailer, I was saying to myself, where's R2-D2? I wanted to see R2-D2. But we didn't get to see R2-D2. I'm like, what? Did he disappear with Luke? Did they both disappear into the ether, never to be seen again? Where's R2-D2? I actually wanted to see him. We see C-3PO, and we see this little new toy that I guarantee you is going to be sold almost immediately. It's supposed to be the companion for BB-8, that little whatever it is, and that's their new toy line that they're going to be selling immediately because they think it's cute. And I'm looking at it going, it looks like a trash can. It's a couple of pieces of metal sitting on top of each other. Who cares? It doesn't even look like, I can't imagine its function. Who cares what it is? And that's supposed to replace R2-D2? I don't think so. I really don't. Did not engage me with that. We got the one good scene with Lando sitting in the chair, happy. He's not the Lando from the movie Solo. He's actually the original Lando Calrissian from the original series with the original charisma and smile and interest, flying the Millennium Falcon. And that scene with the Millennium Falcon actually looked really good. That was a really good special effects. And seeing him smile and laugh, that was good. Chewie got almost no screen time, so screw him. Everyone else is dead, and I expect they'll probably kill Lando too. Oh, well, then again, he's black, so under gender identity politics, he will probably survive this movie. Be the only one from the original cast that will actually, the original series, that'll actually survive. But that's about it. And so he had his moment. Hearing Palpatine laugh, that was a great moment. But really, there's nothing else. And Luke, at the end, he wasn't talking to Rey. He was talking to us. No one's really ever gone. We're always going to be with you. No, you won't. No, I'm not going to go come see the movie. It's a way to suck people in. It's psychology. They're trying to trick people with the trailer, and it's subliminal. saying, you're going to come see this. No one's ever really gone. They can come back. You can come back to Star Wars. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to see this crap movie that has nothing appealing about it. There's no character that I care about. There's no storyline that I care about. The trailer gives me nothing to care about. I don't care about the landscape. I don't care about the characters that might as well be landscape. I don't care about your cute little toy droids that you want me to buy. I'm not going to buy them. The hint that the Emperor may be still alive is actually an original. The idea originally came from the extended universe of Star Wars in the books, following up with what happens after the Emperor is killed and the Death Star is destroyed in the third film. The third film in the original series, Episode 6. So you're stealing from, and the extended universe was thrown out the window by Disney because they wanted to make their own stories. And we can see how well they've done with that. But that was something, the Emperor's a clone. So he's back. Who cares? And is that what Snoke is? Snoke was a very bad clone of Emperor Palpatine. And so we're going to get another clone. There's just a whole vat of them. And every time one dies, the next one comes back to life and they bring him out and they trot him around. Is that what they're saying? Which is just silly and useless and really not interesting. And it's already been done better, far, far better. That story could have been told in Episode 7 and made sense. Now they're going to put it out now. It's useless. Maybe that's what Rey is. Rey is a clone. She's a clone of either the Emperor or of Anakin to try and make a new disciple. And they hid her away from the Emperor and everybody else because they didn't want anyone to know there's this clone running around of the Emperor, but they made it a woman. Is that what it is? I've heard that theory before. It's useless. It's not interesting. I don't know. I've been on, I'm going to go, I'll finish this in half an hour. I'll make this a half hour. So I've got 2 more minutes. And I know most people are at work, so you're probably not seeing this, but I'm sharing my thoughts about it. My big thing is this is far too political. There's too much politics in it. There's too much silliness in it. They're trying to justify a Mary Sue. They've got characters that no one cares about, or many people don't care about, because they never develop their characters. We have people who are doing things that we don't care about in places that we don't care about that have no real impact. And we're being told subliminally that we should love this and we should come see this. And it's not even that subliminal. They're being very direct about it, speaking to the audience, trying to get us to be reinvested in this. And I have to tell you, there's no reason to be. I don't like this movie. I stopped watching at the end of Episode 7, saw the big trailers for Episode 8 and said, no, I'm done with this. And I'm not going to pay to see a Star Wars movie under Disney. Unless J.J. Abrams is incredible, unless he's a master of movie making, which I do not believe he is. He's good. He's not a master of movie making. And unless he suddenly becomes, up there with Francis Ford Coppola, I'm not going to go see this. I'm never going to see another Star Wars Disney movie. And this trailer doesn't give me any reason to believe that I'm wrong. I don't know. But what do you think? Do you agree with anything I've said? Do you think I'm wrong on everything I've said? Do you think this is worthwhile? Do you think the politics is still showing through as much as it did in Episode 8 and as much as it did in Episode 7? Because I'm kind of seeing it here in Episode 9. And that's adding to the fact that I don't want to see this. And I would like to be wrong, but it seems to be following the same trend. And that's telling me that yet another reason why I don't want to see this. Has the politics been too much in Star Wars for you? Have they annoyed you with that? I don't know. You tell me how you feel about the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9. Answer the poll. Give me your comments on Facebook. I'll be putting this up on YouTube in just a moment. You can reach me on Twitter as well. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. But with that, it's Friday, so I'll let you guys go. And I'll see you tomorrow, Saturday, 12 noon, on the Exceptional Conservative channel, the Exceptional Conservative Network, when I'll have my program from 12 noon until 2, and I'll be looking forward to speaking with you about all the issues of the day, and maybe even this as well. So we'll talk again very, very soon. Everyone be well.